he's not on scene right now.
Okay, so this guy comes out here and asks us to leave the parking lot. I mean, he can ask us, but do you realize how that looks when you come and ask us something arbitrary that we don't have to do? Like,
you know that
it's trying to enforce will. I mean, we're supposed to be the victims here, but why?
You have to.
Why? Why come out and even approach us if that dude doesn't have the authority?
Keep it separate, so there's no further issue.
Yeah, you want to leave. You're right. When you start pointing shit out, that's what happens right there. Because you're wrong. You shouldn't approach me. You shouldn't have said. He can, right? I can ask. Give me $5. Can I have $5? That's his shit. Can I have $5?
And I would say no.
No, exactly. But that's weird, dude. Why am I going to ask you for $5? If we're in McDonald's, do you tell the guy behind you, hey man, I'm a police officer. I need you to take 10 feet. You're obstructing right now, bro. That's stupid. Why come over here and say anything to people that have a right to stand here unless
In the first interaction, the situation highlights how quickly a simple request from an officer can be perceived as an attempt to exert authority, especially when civilians already understand their rights. The officers approached casually, but the man immediately explained that even a polite request from someone carrying a badge and a gun carries weight far beyond normal conversation. He points out that when an officer asks, most people assume it is a directive, because the police uniform itself creates a natural sense of pressure. This is the root of public frustration. Officers may believe they are being friendly or reasonable, but citizens feel they are being subtly controlled. The man emphasizes that grown adults do not appreciate being instructed unless they are violating the law, and those small moments of unnecessary commands are exactly what escalate online. Police often underestimate how quickly such interactions get amplified, turning into examples of overreach that feed public distrust.
property management asks us to leave. That's all you need to tell him. If he said, can you ask him to leave?
Can I answer your question?
Go ahead, yes.
Because obviously this guy doesn't want you. To avoid any further issue, we just ask you, hey man, can you just leave? You can totally say no. Be like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Okay, cool.
I get it, but
and as long as you stay separated, it's not even big.
But listen, you guys get a lot of calls when videos get put up on the internet, and it's because of little things like that. Like, that's what I'm trying to tell you. That shit, people don't like. I'm a grown ass man, dude. I don't want you telling me what to do unless I'm breaking the law. You know what I mean? That's what people don't like.
Did he tell you what to do? Did he ask you to leave?
You're wearing a uniform with a gun. I mean, that's automatically an intimidation factor right there. Maybe not for me, but for other people.
Assume it's a directive. They have to listen to you. Most people, you assume most
because
people
so many of you here.
think a cop tells you.
Well, we
weren't.
You guys were here first.
It's an intimidation. You're coming up with.
We saw you guys here.
I don't think I've been intimidating at all.
I'm not talking about you. I'm just doing that.
Conversation continues with the civilian explaining why approaching people without legal grounds creates tension that never needed to exist. He explains that although the officer can ask, doing so without cause feels arbitrary and disrespectful, creating resentment. His analogy about asking someone for $5 is intentionally exaggerated, highlighting how bizarre it feels to be told or asked to do unnecessary things by someone who holds state power. What he is really pointing out is the imbalance of authority and how easily it can be abused, even unintentionally. The officer may believe he is simply resolving a complaint, but civilians see it as another example of police flexing influence. The man stresses that police must understand public perception, because when these small confrontations go online, they become fuel for millions who already distrust the system.
Coming out to ask
I want this to be just taken care of, and like I said, I advise that you guys take care of it through court. Super simple.
Yeah.
And I just don't want any more.
I was hoping we could do it without court, man, because I hate dragging anybody.
I get it, but we're past that.
So we'll let you guys go back to your day.
I'm just trying to give you some insight, man. That little stuff like that is what drives the videos, what drives more people to do this. It seems stupid. Like, he can ask you, yes, but that little tiny thing pisses not. Bro, I have a 250,000 followers. It's not just me standing here. Do you understand? 10,000 followers, 130 something followers. Like, dude, there's hundreds of thousands of people. This is what perpetuates hate for the police. And you might not understand that little dude. He just asked you to leave, bro. But it's the concept of you're wearing a uniform. You look like military out here trying to tell us. It doesn't come off as he asked you. Even though he did technically ask, it does not come off like that. You know what I'm saying? Most people, if you ask them, if he were to come out and ask them to step off the property, they're going to be immediately.
This part of the discussion digs deeper into the psychological effect of uniforms, badges, and weapons. Even when officers behave politely, their presence changes the dynamic instantly. Because citizens know that failing to comply, even with an unnecessary request, can escalate into force or arrest. The man explains that for ordinary people, an officer asking you to move is interpreted as an order, not a suggestion. He mentions that police have become accustomed to citizens physically yielding to them without question, which creates blind spots in how officers understand public reactions. While the officer appears calm and soft-spoken, the man is highlighting a systemic issue. Authority doesn't feel optional even when phrased politely. Civilians want officers to be aware of this dynamic, not pretend it doesn't exist.
Completely intimidated, and they're going to do exactly what you say, and you guys have become used to that. You know what I'm saying? So it just becomes second nature to just do that kind of thing, but you don't realize the adverse effect it has once this goes on the internet.
I think it's a lot of it's the approach and how you do it.
Yeah.
I mean, he was being nice about it. I'm not saying he's being rude,
like,
but...
Hey, I'm the big swinging, and I'm going to come over here and be like, get the fuck out of here. That's one thing. If I'm cool about it and be like, hey, bro.
Yeah, but...
I
feel like it's
hey, man,
reminiscent of the, I'm
here's,
not touching you, I'm not touching
stop,
you.
stop. Here's an example. Are you married? Are you married? Are you married?
Yes.
Can I fuck your wives, please? Please? That's weird as fuck, right, dude? That's the same thing to me. I'm a grown man. I don't want to be asked to do anything unless I have to. You know what I'm saying? We can take it to that extreme or very simple. It is, but you see what I'm saying? It can be used in a lot of different scenarios. Out in public, if somebody asks you that, bro, you're not going to act like cops. Especially if you've had a little bit of drink at the bar or something. Somebody says something to you like that? You don't drink? Good, I don't either.
Civilian then turns to the bigger picture, explaining how even small, unnecessary interactions end up online and generate criticism of the police nationwide. He reminds the officers that he and his companions have large online followings, hundreds of thousands of viewers who judge police behavior. Those viewers are tired of police inserting themselves where they have no legal authority, and every minor incident becomes proof of a wider cultural problem. The man is blunt. These interactions are exactly what motivate more people to film the police, and more channels to expose unnecessary commands. Officers may think the issue is small, but when amplified, it becomes part of a larger narrative about policing culture. He wants the officers to understand how these moments contribute to a negative public image that is ultimately avoidable.
All right, guys.
Liver poison. You guys have a good day.
Hey, man. Hey. Hey, buddy.
Hey, I don't need your directives. I'm not committing a crime. Stay away from me.
No.
Don't walk towards me. Stay away from me.
No.
You don't get to pick where I stand in public, buddy. Get away from me.
No, then I'm going to search you for weapons. I don't know.
Oh, get away from me, you coward.
Just go down there.
You coward. You ain't going to search me for nothing, buddy.
You tape, but go down the...
You don't tell me where to go, Streeback. Get away from me. Go over there with your buddy. You see how he's smart enough not to say nothing to me? You see how he's smart enough not to say nothing to me? But you're dumb enough too, right?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
Nicely,
You don't have to ask me nothing. Back up, man.
No, I'm going to stand right here.
Good.
I can see
Stand right there. I mean no ill will or intent towards you. Go do your job.
Okay, I just asked you to step away.
I don't care what you asked. It's not.
At one point, the man uses an intentionally extreme example, asking if he can sleep with the officers' wives, to demonstrate how absurd and offensive arbitrary requests can feel when unsolicited. His point is not the content of the example, but the concept. Grown adults do not appreciate unwarranted demands or requests from strangers, especially those backed by state authority. He argues that asking civilians to move, leave, or comply without a legal reason is no different on a conceptual level. It is intrusive, unwelcome, and disrespectful. He wants officers to understand that authority does not give them social permission to interfere in people's lives without necessity. Although the example is crude, it effectively conveys how violating it feels to be approached and told what to do without justification.
Is that a law, buddy? Is that a law? You're a law enforcement, aren't you? Thank you.
I don't know what you are doing or planning to do or not.
I'm standing here with the camera in my hand, genius.
Well, I can stand here just as you can stand there then.
Yeah, well, I didn't say you couldn't stand there. I didn't try to tell you to go somewhere like you did me, jackass. Yeah, I got freedom of speech too, by the way, buddy. Yeah, I know you know, and you look at your disdain towards me because you can't stand it.
No, it's because
Yeah.
it's proper, that's all.
Proper would have been leave me alone when I walk up to you. That's would have been proper. That's why the public can't stand you scumbags. Always trying to tell people what lawfully they can and can't do.
I said you could tape, just scoot it down.
I don't need your permission though, that's where you're wrong. Giving me permission to tape, I don't need it from you. The Constitution of this great place gives it to me.
When the second confrontation begins in the video, the tone shifts dramatically. Here, the officer immediately escalates by approaching the man aggressively and issuing an unlawful command. The man recognizes the tactic instantly, an attempt to use authority to push him away from a public place despite having no legal reason. Instead of complying, he stands firm and asserts his rights loudly and clearly. The officer's reaction exposes exactly what the first conversation warned about. When civilians refuse an officer's unnecessary directive, the officer's demeanor changes. The civilian calls out this intimidation, pointing out that the officer's threat to search for weapons is baseless and manipulative. This moment reveals the underlying problem: officers who cannot tolerate civilians. Asserting their rights resort to power plays.
So, hey, here's another law in Indiana. I'm not yelling at you. I'm asking you to quiet down. Stop screaming and yelling.
Bud, I can protest anywhere I want and be as loud as I want.
You're right, you can protest.
Exactly. So let's be quiet now, sir.
Okay, stop screaming and yelling.
Number 63.
Stop
This is my normal voice, buddy.
Okay.
This is my normal voice. So this is Officer Strebeck, number 63. He's from Griffith.
Do not walk up
He's a
on
moron.
Do
Then
not
we
walk
got
up
number
on
9.
us. Giving you a legal lawful directive. Do not walk up on the laws.
We got number 63. This is his car. He's a canine douche. Got number 8.
The confrontation continues. The officer insists that he has the authority to tell the man where to stand, even though the man is clearly not interfering with anything. The civilian highlights the hypocrisy. He never told the officer where to stand, yet the officer immediately attempted to control his movement. The man frames this as a common police behavior, issuing unnecessary commands out of habit rather than actual need. His refusal is not aggression. It is a deliberate exercise of his rights. The officer, offended by this resistance, becomes increasingly irritated. Meanwhile, another officer stays silent, demonstrating awareness that the situation doesn't justify intervention. This contrast exposes how some officers recognize boundaries while others try to dominate citizens, unnecessarily.
What's your name and badge number?
Okay, if they can just get somebody with a license.
I already know who you are. You don't need to identify
Walking,
yourself.
just don't walk up on us. I'm not telling you again. Don't walk up on us.
Notice how this guy's not saying nothing to me?
Because he's on the radio,
He's
man.
not saying nothing to me, bro. But you keep on talking. I know you're not. I would never be a pig.
Okay, that's
Never in my life.
You're very disrespectful for no good reason.
So are you by telling me what to do as soon as I walked up. You should have shut your mouth. You should have shut your mouth and you wouldn't have had this.
All right, man. Just keep walking.
I'm going to stand right here, buddy.
You don't walk up on us. I don't know anything about you.
You're a...
The tension rises when the officer accuses the man of being disrespectful, but the civilian quickly flips the narrative. He argues that disrespect began the moment the officer attempted to control him without lawful cause. He reminds the officer that authority does not entitle him to obedience when no crime is being committed. The officer's repeated comments reveal frustration that he cannot force the man to comply, and this frustration shows clearly in his tone and posture. The civilian calls him a coward not to insult him personally, but to criticize officers who fear public presence yet carry weapons and badges. This moment represents the public's larger frustration. Officers should not enter confrontations. They cannot legally justify.